welcome to This Is R&B.com. I am Rocky, your host, here with Kara Marni. I'm really digging the sound. And I get how, according to your bio, like Lauryn Hill is one of your influences, and Amy Winehouse. Oh my God, I miss her so much. So talk about that, how you got as a woman from the UK, right? Because we know R&B is kind of still not as big over there.
Yeah.
What made you pursue this genre of music?
I think that's a really good point you made about how, R&B is still kind of finding its feet. I think I've always sung R&B. Like, I've always had a very soulful voice, and I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill, like all the soul greats, whether that be kind of, Aretha Franklin, Minnie Riperton, Diana Ross. And then as I kind of grew older, I got into artists like Lauryn Hill and Amerie and Aaliyah. So I think my sound is definitely a fusion of that kind of soul R&B that I grew up listening to. And that's the only way I can sing. I think that's literally, I feel like I can't sing in any other genre. That's just how I naturally sing. So it wasn't really a choice per se. It was just something that I was like, when I go to the studio, that's just what comes out of my mouth. But I think, as much as obviously it originates from America, and it's obviously thriving in America, and it's a lot more understood, I think it is still, it's getting a bit more shine that it deserves over here, with artists like Mahalia, Tiana Major 9, Ray Black. We're having a really cool moment in the UK for R&B artists, so it's actually really nice to see. And SZA just had a top 10 here with her new song Good Days, which is actually really encouraging as well too, to see that she's kind of crossing over into the charts in the UK as well. Not that the charts really matters, but it's really nice to see that people are kind of really just loving the sound. I mean, for me, R&B is just kind of like, if you don't, it's like, if you don't like dogs, it's just like, who doesn't like dogs? Like, how can you not? Do you know what I mean?
Dog person, right? I do not like cats. I love dogs.
But I'm just like, it's like, how can you not love R&B music? It's just so, it's just emotional, So that's how I feel.
Okay, I love it. So can I ask, and excuse me if I'm overstepping, what is your ethnicity or heritage?
No, that's all good. So I'm of Greek Cypriot origin. So my from both my mum and my dad, and my grandparents, I'm of Greek Cypriot origin, but I'm born and raised in the UK.
Oh, I love it. I love it, because I love your olive skin. Now, I had a supervisor who was Greek, and I love the food there. I would love to visit there.
Honestly, Rocky, if you come, listen, when you're in the UK, I'll invite you over to my house and you'll get basically being Greek just means that we don't stop eating. And the house is just permanently smelling of amazing food. So when you come to the UK, you can come around and I'll get my mum and my yaya and my grandma to cook you up a traditional.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait. Well, talk about your name. Is Kara Marni your given name?
So good question. It's actually my surname. So so it's actually not my first name. Kara Marni is my surname in one word, and I split it into two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a bit, do you know what's funny is when people meet me, they always ask me, is that your real name? And I'm like, is it that strange that it sounds like I've just kind of made it up and put it out there? And they're like, it's like I've said my name's tablecloth or something, where it's just so random that it just, and they're always like, is it? And I'm like, why do you ask? They're like, oh, it has a nice ring to it. I'm like, cool, no, that was strategic.
It does. It absolutely, that's why I said it's lyrical. It's like Kara Marni. It just flows. I love it. So let's talk about some of, you start talking about events and awards. Let's talk about 50 million streams, all of the events you've been to, all of the festivals you've done. I mean, with Elton John, was it Elton John gave you some props? Like, talk about that. Like, that's, I mean, because your debut was 2018, right?
Yes.
So it's only been like 3 years. Like, well, talk about what is that like to have all of this acclaim in such a short amount of time?
I mean, honestly, I know from the outside in, it might seem like a short amount of time, but like I've dedicated my whole life to music. Like it's not just been, yes, it's been like a few years since I've actually released a song, but I think behind the scenes it's been like,
it's been a slow burn. Yeah.
It's been since like when I was really, really young. I've been doing music and singing for as long as I can even remember. But I think it's just great to see, you know, obviously Elton John is such a iconic, you know, artist, songwriter, legend, musician, you know, everything person. So for him to say that he's just been consistently really supporting my music and always playing it on his show and talking it up. So that's still crazy to me, to be honest, when I listen back, because every time he like says something nice about me and he's like, I love this song, and I'm just like, I literally like record it, I'm like sending it to my friends, I'm like, that's Elton John right there.
And that is how it is a lot of times. Like, we think that someone just blew up, but they've really been grinding behind the scenes for a long time. But so how does it feel then to know that the work you've been doing is finally getting that acclaim?
Definitely. And I think that's the positive thing, is every year I feel the growth, I see the growth, and it keeps me really encouraged because, you know, as an artist, as a creative, I think you have a tendency to just always feel like you're not doing enough almost. Like from the outside in it, I always get like, oh my God, like this is so cool. Like, but because my dreams are so big, I'm always looking at the next thing to do that when people say things to me, I'm just like, oh yeah, cool. But I don't think about what I've done. I'm always just thinking about the future. So when people are like, oh my God, you've done this, and it's like, yeah, but I never just sit and think about it. You know, I'm always just looking at evolving and how I can improve myself and what better songs I can write and what more music I can put out and just how I can improve. So I think that's what keeps me going, really, is never getting complacent and always knowing that there's more I could be doing, you know?
Absolutely. Okay, so again, let's go back a little bit. Going back to Legends, you're working the remix of Trippin.
Yes.
That's out with Verdine White of Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yes.
So talk about that. You all were on Instagram Live last week, and I saw you guys were on there together talking about how that came together. And you said that it was Sarah Stinnett who brought you all together?
Yes. So she's my manager and got us into contact. But Verdine, we really hit it off, you know, and it was also produced by John Paris, who's the drummer of Earth, Wind and Fire, and Neil Pogue, who's a phenomenal Grammy-award-winning, you know, producer, mix master. And we hit it off. We got on Zoom together, and I sent them a bunch of my music, and I was like, you know, I'd love to work with you guys. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't? But and they just really seemed to vibe with Trippin. I didn't really say anything about that it was one of my favorite songs that I sent over. They just said, we really love the song. We'd love to kind of work a live arrangement around it. And honestly, it was the most unbelievable process, and they are such lovely and down-to-earth people. And Verdine, I call him Uncle Verdine now. Like, he's literally like, I love him so much, and he's so caring and just kind, and has really kind of supported me. And I feel like it's just so nice as an up-and-coming artist to have an arm around me from such like a legend and a veteran of what he does. So it's just been an amazing experience. But I was originally meant to be going to LA to do the song with them in person, but obviously with COVID we couldn't make that happen. So I'm just so happy that even during these kind of obstacles, even while these obstacles have come our way, we've still managed to kind of get the song done and, you know, put it out. And it is amazing, you know. It's a huge honor to have worked with people like, you know, have Verdine on the song. I mean, it's just crazy, you know. He started Earth, Wind and Fire with his brother Maurice White, and it's just I still can't believe it, to be honest. I'm saying it out loud and I'm like, has that really happened? Like, I grew up listening to, you know, September, Boogie Wonderland, like blasting at all the parties and all the, it's just crazy. But I'm just so humbled and honored that you know, they wanted to be a part of my project and my career and my journey.
I love it. I love it. So talk a little bit about, I want to do something where we like break down the bars or we live the lyric, so to speak. When you say, finally, I'm learning how to feel alive. Talk about that. Like, talk a little bit about the origin of Trippin and just what made you decide to do a remix. Like, just talk about the evolution of the song and some of those lyrics.
So, I mean, the song, to be honest with you, I always had wanted to rework the Amory One Thing. That's been one of my favorite R&B songs forever because, you know, I just think it's really a song that stands by itself, you know, in terms of the production, the breakbeat, the drums, the way she's singing, you know, her top line, the melody. I think it really is just like a standout song, and I couldn't really name many songs that I think are kind of similar to that song. And I always kind of have gone into many sessions trying to rework that song, and it's never turned out how I kind of wanted it to be, because it is a classic song, and I think when you're messing with a classic comes with a lot of pressure, and you need to make sure that you're adding something that's also new, not just trying to kind of copy something. You're bringing your own flavor to that song. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it, because you can't beat an original song, you know, a classic like that. So I tried and tried and tried. We tried with sessions, and they were trying to recreate the drums, and it just didn't work. I was like, yeah, this just isn't it. So in the first week of lockdown, I was like, okay, cool. I have one more idea, and this is the last attempt at this song. If it doesn't work, I think we got to put this idea to bed, because I'm not like, it's not meant to be. And I was like, I called my producer. I was like, why don't we take the best part of the song, which is the chorus melody, and I rewrite the verse and pre-chorus around it, and we can tweak the lyrics of the chorus. And that's when Trippin was born. And I had always wanted to write about that kind of concept about, you know, this was about someone I wrote. It was very similar to a situation I wanted to write about. I met this guy just before lockdown that I was kind of obsessed with. And I mean, I'm not obsessed with him anymore, but that's another story. But, and I kind of really wanted to, I think, the One Thing concept was very similar to what I wanted to talk about. So I just thought it went really hand in hand. And that's when Trippin was born. And I think that was the first time I was like, okay, cool, I would actually put this out. Like, I'm happy with it. You know, I think I brought enough of myself into it. And the fact I rewrote, you know, around the song and made it my own is, yeah, I'm happy with it.
But what have you done otherwise to keep yourself motivated besides working on Trippin? Like, what have you done during COVID in quarantine?
I mean, definitely a lot of fighting with my family. I mean, that's an obvious thing, let's be honest. When you spend too much time with someone, it just becomes like, I mean, literally, I'm surprised we've all got our like eyes still intact. But
yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely been interesting, not being able to escape when your sister's being annoying. But it's been really good, like in terms of like I last year when it was summer, I was really starting to like get into like plants. I know that sounds crazy, but like I love like growing vegetables. I was growing tomatoes. And my grandma's like a huge, she has like a whole like patch in her garden that's just dedicated to like growing fruit and vegetables. And it's for me because I love going around there and checking how they're doing. And that was really fun. Cooking, I've been doing a lot of cooking, thinking I'm Nigella Lawson. But it's been, I think reading, I've done a lot more reading actually, which has been really good. And I think just honestly, like, besides stuff that's productive, which I have tried to be productive, you know, I've learned how to vocal produce, which is actually such a huge thing for me because I cannot use computers. I come from a computer illiterate family. My mum thinks I'm clever that I can go on Google and search, you know, where's the nearest McDonald's. Like, my family can't use computers, so I am very like, I recorded Tripping by myself in my shed, in my leopard print shed in the garden, and I vocal produced the acoustic, and all the music you're going to hear next I've literally recorded at home, which I'm really proud to say I can do now, because that was actually a really big thing I wanted to learn. But besides all of that stuff, it's honestly just been like watching Netflix.
Right. I know,
Like,
right?
I'm not gonna lie, like, have you seen The Crown on Netflix?
No, I need to watch that. Is that the one about Princess Diana?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about the whole like royal family, and I've been watching Bridgerton. I'm obsessed.
Yes, I saw Bridget. Yes, I love him. The Duke of Hastings.
Duke of Hastings. I need me a Simon.
So talk about the music though, the new music. Talk about what's after Trippin.
So I've got a new song dropping. Is it next month? Next month. It's, well, I'm not gonna actually say too many details, but it's a song I wrote before the pandemic. But I don't know. I think I overthink things when putting up music, and I'm like, oh, you know, maybe. But I'm just like, this year I've just come with a different approach. I'm like, I want to just put out music and not overthink everything, and because that's what I do. I literally overthink myself into not releasing songs that I actually really love, and I'm like, why are they sat there on my computer collecting, you know, dust on my hard drive, like, and no one's hearing them. So but I really love this song, and it's a vibe. It's like, it's something you can kind of dance to, you know, which I think is nice, because I think I release quite a lot of slow music, so it would be nice to actually just release something that could be played in a club that someone can actually dance to, and not just, you know, cry over.
I love it. Okay, well, I enjoyed you, Kari. So any last words for what would you like your, I guess, legacy as an artist to be like?
My legacy, I think, that's such a tough question. For my music to live on and to maybe inspire young girls and aspiring singers and artists that I once was, to make music and to do what they love and to live their dream and try and achieve their goals, you know. That would actually be really nice if little girls could say that I've inspired them to you know, start singing and performing and writing music. That would be cool.
I love it. Well, I enjoyed you, Kari. I look forward to hearing what's next. No other clue about what the song is going to be? It's written, produced by you. Any other tips? Is it the end of next month, the beginning?
No, so it's mid next month.
Okay.
And it's a vibe. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a vibe, and you're gonna like it. If you, all I'm gonna say is, it's like, if you've heard my song All Night. I don't know if you've heard my song All Night.
Okay.
But it's like, I feel like it's an All Night, maybe part 2.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's the clue I'm gonna give.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Kara. I really enjoyed you. Look forward to hearing more from you, and again, look forward to seeing the next album, and please keep in touch with us here at This Is R&B.
Definitely. Thank you for all your support.